A man left me at a bar after he found out I slept with a black man. Football, which led into a conversation about someone that I had slept with. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, what? And I was like, put back a little bit. And I was like, what do you mean, what? And he was like, he's black.
Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments.
A man left me at a bar after he found out I slept with a black man. So I met this guy online, and we decided that we were going to go on a date. We were only talking for a couple days, but it was going well, and I was like, hey, it's Sunday. What are you up to today? You want to watch some football? We'll get a drink. And he was like, yeah, for sure. So we met at a bar. We're hanging out. I am not one that's like, how many people have you slept with? What's your number? Blah. We're fucking adults. I could care. Are you clean? I don't like, why is this still, it isn't a thing. But we were watching football, which led into a conversation about someone that I had slept with. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, what? And I was like, put back a little bit. And I was like, what do you mean, what? And he was like, he's black. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking aware. So I was a little put off by it, but then he got like super intense, and he was like, you fucked a black man? And I was like, sir. Like, he turned into like an exorcist. I was like, what? What? And to be fair, at this point, the date was over for me. But
That's so weird though. Like, are black people not human beings too? I feel like this person she was on a date with is probably a racist person too. Because why did he think that was such a big deal? And also, who asks about body count in this day and age? That's just a weird conversation to have, especially on the first date. You're literally just meeting this person. Why do you want to know their body count? Why is that so important to you?
I was like, what is wrong with you? And he like went into this whole big thing about, I'm not even going to repeat all the shit that he said about like being dirty and all that. And I was like, what is wrong? So this is where I started planning my exit. And I was like, okay, how am I going to get out of here? I can't freaking sit here with this guy anymore. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Now, I drove myself, so I full on planned on whatever, leaving by myself anyway. But I was like, okay, I'm trying not to ghost people or be like a crazy person. He had my phone number, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I come back out, he was gone. I was like, that worked out fucking perfect. So I sat at the bar for the rest of the time. I met the bartender. Her name was Tara. We had a great time. And what in the actual fuck is dating?
That's crazy that in the year 2025, this is still a topic of conversation, that being with a black person is considered being dirty now. Like, I don't know, like, this is just annoying. And what's even more disturbing is the comment section of this video. There were so many people agreeing with him. Like, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing.
Did y'all see the video of the girl that decided to go on a date with this guy? He saw her from afar and was like, you are so pretty. Can I take you on? She was like, of course you can take me out. They exchanged information. He was like, can I come get you? And she was like, no, I don't really want you to come get me. He's like, okay, I understand. That's fair. I'll send you a black car. So he sends her a car. She gets to the date. They're having an amazing time, right? Drinking, eating, whatever. And then all of a sudden he looks at his phone and starts getting nervous and acting weird. And she's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm all right. I gotta go to the bathroom. So he rushes and goes to the bathroom. She's like, okay, that's weird. He comes back and she's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I just need more drinks to loosen up. Then he starts looking over his shoulders and she's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Then a group of guys come walking in, right? He turns his body so as not to be seen. And she's like, maybe that's his ops. See, I don't play about no ops. If you got ops and you scared of them like that, you don't want to be seen, we gotta go.
It sounds like it's time for her to pack up and go. The moment he started looking paranoid, and now he's trying to hide from somebody. It's time for you to go home. Go home. Trust me. Because the ending of this is not gonna be good.
So they sit behind her at the bar, and the one guy in the group is like, I can't leave my man try to play me and take a bitch out on a date. Like I don't got his location. And she's like, ooh, I'm trying to listen to what they got going on at the bar and pay attention to him. She's like, then her date is like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Jumps up and goes to the bathroom. Homeboy that's at the bar talking all that trash gets up, walks past her table and is like, you are so pretty. She was really pretty. And then goes to the bathroom. The next thing you know, the guys behind her get a phone call like, we're on our way. They rush to the bathroom and so does security. Girl, why is her date in the bathroom tussling? And they get thrown out of the restaurant, and she looking like, as they getting dragged out of the restaurant, like, what the fuck is going on? So she gets stuck with the tab, pays the tab, calls her Uber, goes outside. They still rumbling. And she's like looking, and he's like, baby, please, listen to me. She like, baby.
He had a boyfriend the whole time. Oh my goodness. If you're still in a relationship with somebody, why would you take somebody else on a date? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just common sense. If you're still in a relationship, don't cheat. Do you really think that your partner is not going to find out if you're going on a date with somebody else? Eventually, they're going to find out. I'm just glad that these guys did not attack her too. But then it also makes me wonder, maybe this is not his first time of doing this.
Bitch, that was his motherfucking boyfriend. Y'all got to leave people alone. Why is you trying to go out on a date and you committed to somebody already? You know they was in Atlanta, right? But that's all I know.
If you know you are in a relationship, stay away from single people. Do not drag other people into your mess. This lady could have just had a nice, lovely evening, but now you're bringing all this drama to her life. And then she has to pay a tab for 2 people. How is that fair? Oh, and then now she has to take her Uber back home. At least nobody put hands on her that day, right? I guess.
One time I was talking to this guy on Bumble and he wanted to go on a first date and he wanted to go on a hike. And I know that's like a new thing now that people want to go on a hike and don't want to get a drink, don't want to do that. I was like, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to go on a hike in the woods with someone that I don't know. I was like, well, how about a park or something? He's like, no, I want to go on a hike. And I was like, okay, you're going to go on a hike by yourself then. I'm not going into the woods or into the middle of nowhere with someone I don't even know, sir. And he was like, all right, well, we can go for a drive then. I'm like, I don't want to go for a drive. If I didn't want to go on a hike, I don't want to go for a drive. I do not want to be alone with you, sir. That is not what we're going to do on a first date. Hello, people are crazy. So then he was like super pushy about it and I thought that was weird. And then he was like, well, that's fine, we can go to this park then, I'll pick you up, what's your address? And I was like, absolutely not, I'm not giving you my address, you're a stranger. And he was like, why I want to be a gentleman, why won't you let me pick you up? And I was like, you can be a gentleman in a million ways, and you being super pushy right now is not the way to be a gentleman. I am not giving you my address. And he was like super aggressive about it. So then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna block you, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. So I blocked him on Bumble. Now,
how do men not understand the reason why women do not want to be alone with them on the first date? Like, how do you not understand why she doesn't want to be with you, a perfect stranger? The first time she meets you, you could be a serial for all she knows. Her friends and family don't know anything about you. So if anything happens to her, nobody is going to know who to hold accountable. How is that rocket science in this day and age? Like, don't you guys watch true crime? You don't even have to watch true crime to see the way women are getting. Like, just turn on the news. It's every day. Why are you so surprised that a woman that does not know you, does not want to be with you in the woods where there's nobody? If you're going to meet a man for the first time, meet in public.
Now, he didn't have my full name. He didn't have my phone number. All of a sudden, I get this Facebook message. And he was like, hey, sorry, I'm in the CVS parking lot. Someone pulled up next to me. He was like, hey, why did you block me? And I was like, bro, this is why I blocked you. First of all, you were super aggressive. You want to meet in the middle of nowhere. Second of all, you want my address. You're like, want to pick me up, whatever. And now you found me on Facebook. I do not know how. Like, I blocked you, and unless you had my images saved and then you Google image search me after, like, why did you even have my picture? Like, how could you even find me after Bumble? So then I blocked him on Facebook and he finds me on Instagram. And I was like, bro, you are boo, 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 like setting off all sorts of alarms. So then I got back on Bumble and I like reported him to Bumble and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. He seems super creepy. He's super pushy about a first date. He wants to meet a first date in the middle of nowhere. He wants to meet in the woods. He wants to go for a drive, whatever. Now he's found me on all of these different forms of social media. So I blocked him. I blocked him here. I blocked him on all forms of social media that I can. And then I didn't hear from him again, but I was like, this is a little sketchy.
Somebody blocking you is a message. It means don't contact me again. I don't want to hear from you again. No means no. Respect people's boundaries. If she says, do not contact me again, it means do not contact her again. It doesn't mean you should find another way to contact her. Can you imagine how dangerous it would be for a woman that is not as strong as a man to be alone in the woods where nobody is there with a man that wouldn't take no for an answer? In my opinion, never. Unless you trust that man, do not go into the woods with him on the first date. Unless you know him and you know that this man is never going to hurt you.
So I have the guy's like information and I am always like watching the news to see if maybe he pops up as like a serial killer or something. But I think I might post him on one of those Are We Dating the Same Guys and just be like, hey, alert, alarms, like watch out for this dude because he wants to meet you in the middle of nowhere, wants your address, and then he gets really angry if you don't give it to him.
It's a good thing she didn't give him her address because I'm pretty sure he could have started to stalk her. This man sounds very, very aggressive. Like, no means no. Respect other people's boundaries. She said, I don't want to meet in the woods. If you really are interested in dating her, Find somewhere that is public, where she's comfortable, and then take her on a date there. Then if you guys build that trust, you can start exploring each other's hobbies. As she said, I won't be too surprised if this man turns out to be a serial killer, because why exactly do you want to be in the woods with a woman you barely know? Like, that's very suspicious, honestly. Especially since he won't take any other options.
Aria, baby. Babe. I just want to lie down next to you. I just need a hug right now. Aria. Babe, please open the door.
You're scaring me. Please go away.
Okay, babe. Can you just I'm like standing all the way back. Can you just open the door for like 2 minutes?
No. Stop knocking on my door.
I'm not gonna knock. I promise I'm not gonna knock. I promise that.
I want you to not talk to me anymore. Go lay down or leave my...
Honestly, just watching this first part of this video, in my opinion, if I was in that situation, I'll be very, very scared. And I know it might sound like you're being a Karen if you call the police, but if you're dealing with a man, I honestly will always say, as a woman, call the police if you don't feel safe. Because a man is always going to be stronger than you. Even if he's a 5 feet tall man and you are 6 feet tall, he's always going to be stronger than you. So if you don't feel safe, call the police, because you might need their help. And to add to it, this man is drunk. In my opinion, call the police. He might not get in trouble, but at the very least, you know you are safe.
house.
Okay, is my phone in your room, babe?
No, it is not.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me find my phone. I'm gonna set like a 20-minute alarm so I can leave. Okay, just give me 1 second.
So there's a part 2. I'm gonna play the part 2 right now. Right, so it looks like he threw up on her sink, and yeah. Just watching this video, this is one of the reasons why I don't think you should go to somebody else's house on the first date, or if you don't know them very well, because you don't know how they act when they are drunk. You don't have enough information about them to feel safe around them. You know, I just feel like that's just such a big risk to take. In my opinion though, that's just my opinion. I'm gonna play an actual story time for this whole situation.
I wanted to address this question because I got a lot of these and a few others about my Hinge date from hell last night. Still kind of processing, but wanted to hop on and just kind of give you a quick story time. So this wasn't our first date. This was actually our third date. We had gone on an initial date about a week and a half ago. Our second date was actually a double date with some of my friends who actually really liked him a lot. And then he asked me last night to go to dinner. So since it had been our third date and we've been communicating almost every day, I was like, okay, come pick me up and we'll go to dinner. Dinner was going amazing. We were vibing. Literally no red flags had like presented themselves at this point. So here in San Diego, restaurants close really early, like 10 o'clock. So we left the restaurant and I was like, well, since I live close, I have some wine at the house. Why don't we go back to the house and have some wine? Because honestly, we were vibing, having a great time, and I didn't want the night to end. So we get back here, and this is where things go south really fast. I get the wine out, pour 2 glasses for the two of us, and I was like, let me run out and take the dogs out, let them, do their business, and I'll be right back. Literally only gone for like 3-4 minutes max, and he had already like chugged his entire glass of wine. Now, we had both had 2 martinis at the restaurant. I was just feeling really happy, tipsy, really good, so assuming he's feeling the same way.
He's a lightweight. Oh my goodness. He sounds like he has drank 6 bottles of alcohol. I'm glad the whole situation turned out well because he was able to throw up and take a nap. But in my opinion, if you don't feel safe, call the police. Always call the police. Not because you call the police means he'll get in trouble. It just means that you're sure you're going to be safe.
And so when he was chugging the wine, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he was like pouring himself another glass. So he proceeds to drink 3 glasses of wine in less than 10 minutes. And I could already see like a shift in his behavior, and like he's starting to get like really sloppy and like kissing me and like touching me and like being gropey, and I was like, ugh. I immediately got the ick, and I was like, I am not here for like a drunk makeout sesh, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I actually want to go to bed. And he just kept being like persistent about it. And I was like, no, I was like, I need you to respect my boundaries. No means no. And like, he was drunk. So I was like, you can sleep on the couch. I went and got him some pillows and blankets and like set him up on the couch. And then while I was doing that, he like gets in my bed. And I was like, absolutely not. We're not sleeping in the bed. Not sleeping in my bed. And then he proceeds to throw up in my bed. Well, partially like throw up in his hand and like runs to the bathroom. And I was like, you have got to be effing kidding me. Like, this isn't happening. This is a nightmare. And so he's like in the bathroom throwing up in the sink. Like, there's a toilet right there. There's a bathtub right there. But no, he chooses to throw up in the sink. And like, once he's done throwing up, he like starts like crying. And okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to do a part 2. Sorry about that.
I think she did everything right because she already met some of his friends and he met some of her friends. This wasn't the first date, you know? So I don't really see any precautions she could have taken, you know? This just turned out to be a bad situation. But let me go find the part 2.
Okay, part 4, hopefully this is the last part of my Hinge date from hell story. So yeah, he starts crying and just like, what did I do wrong? Like, you don't want like anything to do with me, like just being super whiny and crying. And I was just like so awkward and so over it. I'm like, no, I'm not having any of this. And then he's just like, please just let me hug you. And he just kept getting in my personal space. And like, that's a big thing for me. Boundaries is like, don't get in my personal space. If I've told you, do not touch me, do not touch me. And so I was like, no, please stay away from me. And so I ended up like just going into my room and like locking the door. And then he proceeds to follow me to the door and like trying to like open it, seeing it's locked. And he's just like talking to me through the door and he's like banging and talking. So when you saw the video, he had been standing there for about 5 minutes, like talking to me.
You see, this is the exact reason why I think she should have called the cops. Because this guy is not in his right mind. Whether he's a quote unquote good guy or not, at this point, it doesn't matter because he's not thinking straight. Whether he's drunk or not, this man is stronger than you. So call the cops so you know that no matter what happened, at the very least, you are safe.
Like crying, like, please open the door, babe. Like, it was awful. And I was like starting to get freaked out because he was like starting to get like aggressive with opening the door. And I was like, that's when you saw the video. And I was like, please go away, go lay down, do something. Because like I knew he was too drunk. And the funny thing is like, calling the police didn't actually even cross my mind. And I understand, like watching it back, I look at it and I'm like, that should have been like my very first instinct. But I think it was hard for me to wrap my head around like the person that I had been getting to know for the last almost 2 weeks, so different from this person in front of me. So it was like, I don't know, it was kind of like a mind fuck a little bit because I just was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then part of me too felt like, I don't know, he hadn't really done anything. Yes, it was making me like really scared, but he didn't like do anything. So I think in my mind, I was maybe being too nice, even letting him stay here, definitely too nice. But yeah, so like it wasn't even a thought in my mind to call the police.
I understand that you calling the cops might make you kind of feel like a Karen because he wasn't actually being super aggressive with you, right? He was just being whiny and probably a little bit annoying. And yeah, you've probably gotten to know him and he's probably a very nice person, like when he's not drunk. But the state of this guy, he's not thinking straight. That's the real problem right here, right? He has drank so much that he's not thinking straight. So he's probably not making decisions that he would have made when he's thinking straight, you know? Honestly, I totally understand now why she didn't call the cops too. Because like, thinking back, it's true, he wasn't really very aggressive. He wasn't trying to hit her or he wasn't trying to do anything to like physically harm her. I feel like that's probably why she felt like maybe she can handle it, you know?
I started recording just in case something did happen, and that should have been the trigger in my mind. Call somebody, you know, this isn't normal. But it's interesting because like I see these videos of people going through that and you're always like, oh my God, why didn't they just do this? And so, but when you're in it, it's a very different experience, and like hindsight is definitely 20/20. And so yes, lesson learned for me, definitely going to call someone, the police or a friend or somebody, to be like, hey, this isn't right. help me out here. And then, yeah, he left a huge mess in the bathroom. Absolutely disgusting. This morning, I had to clean all of it up. And I know he saw it because this morning I heard him when he got up to leave. He went to the bathroom and he saw it and left it there. And I was like, absolutely, I'm so done with this. So I have some interesting text exchange. I'll post that probably later today or tomorrow, but it's really interesting to hear his perspective on what happened last night. So, yep, that's in a nutshell what happened on my hinge date from hell.
It's crazy that when he woke up, he left the mess there. Like, I feel like if I did something like that, I would feel so bad and so apologetic. At least try to clean the sink. You know, he probably might not be able to clean everything, or at least pay for her to get someone to clean it. Why would you expect someone that you just met to clean your throw up? Like, you know, that's just so unfair. Like, in addition to all the way you misbehaved the other day, I hope she blocked him, because there's no way this is gonna work out. All right, let me see if there's like another part.
I was gonna wait to post this in the morning, but you guys are cracking me up in the comments and cannot wait for these texts. So here is the finale to the Hinge Date Nightmare saga. So these are the texts that were sent after the drama that happened last night. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go watch my other 4 videos to figure it out. Okay, so at 12:30, he's clearly still very drunk. He texts me, "Baby, please hello me." Okay, whatever. I didn't hello him. I got up at 4:30. You guys saw the video. I snuck out, got my picture of the sink, and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So I made sure to text him, "Can you please clean the bathroom sink before you leave? It's clogged from vomit." So I know he saw this at 6:30 because he had his read receipt on, and I heard him at 6:30 in the bathroom. So I know he saw this.
I mean, you shouldn't even have to tell him. Like, you made a mess. Clean it up. You're an adult. You don't even need somebody to tell you to clean up your own mess. I feel like just his behavior alone is embarrassing. And then finding out that you threw up in somebody else's house. If I was in a situation, I'll be cleaning up. You don't even have to tell me before I know to clean up.
So he proceeds to leave and does not clean the sink. So at 7:30 in the morning, I sent him this text. "Seriously, you just left it?" I mean, I've never been so grossed out in my entire life. Like, this is like the lowest of the low. And so at 10:30, I guess when he wakes up, he deigns to respond and says, "Babe, I'm sorry about the mess. Woke up and left ASAP. I feel like I did something to upset you last night. I wonder what that could be."
I wonder too, why does he keep calling you babe? The relationship is over at that point. Even if he said, "I don't know that I threw up," you literally told him that clean the bathroom before you leave. So the excuse of "I didn't know" is no longer valid. And then now he's turning around to pretend like he didn't know what he did. Just block this man already.
Tell me if I did. Like, at this point, I'm like, is he really so obtuse and unaware that he has no idea what happened last night? Like, is he gaslighting me? I really want to know what you guys think about this text, because I was not having it. It's a rare scene. I don't know what that means. To meet someone like you, I think I had a little bit too much. You think? Oh my God, what gave you that impression? I'm going to go back to sleep and recover. All right, I was fuming at this text. So I respond with a very well laid out reason why I felt the way that I did about what happened. You can pause to read. I followed it up with sending him a copy of the video with him banging on the door, just so he had video proof that yes, he did completely act like an ass. And his final response was, "Thank you, Abby. I'm so sorry. I'm disappointed in myself and heartbroken about how I made you feel. I will work on myself and I'll miss you." Yeah, so that was the response that I got after my nightmare in hell. So what do you think of his response? And yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts, because I thought it was complete BS. No accountability whatsoever.
Yeah. He took no accountability for anything he did, you know. He didn't even offer to help you clean up any of the mess he created. I'm glad that he knows already that there's no more relationship after this, because you're just getting to know somebody. You should be on your best behavior, not behaving like this. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments.